Hello, this is Marcus Stewart, and welcome to Carving Gaming Rushmores. Joining me on this episode are my two guests. First, a voice you might recognize, a writer from Screen Rant, Mr. Zak Wojnar.
That's me.
Welcome back, sir.
Hey.
Hey. And brand new voice, we have a podcaster and host of the Mr. Jones and Me music podcast, Mr. One Daniel Jones.
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Hey. Absolutely. How you doing, dude?
I'm good. I'm excited to do this show and talk about what we're going to talk about. I don't want to give it away, though.
Okay. I like that. Respecting the secret, keeping the veil.
It's not my show. It's not. I don't want to be the one giving that away.
It's like going to a birthday party and opening the birthday kid's gifts before he does.
You will love this bike when you get to ride it after I'm done with it.
Okay, like here you go. All right, but yeah. Well, in case you're listening for the first time, here on Carving Gaming Rushmores, what we do here, we examine one video game-related topic, and what we do is determine the Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of that topic. And what that means is that we're going to determine the 4 premier examples of it. And the way it works is that in the first half, we're going to introduce our personal 4 picks for the topic and take turns going around explaining why we picked those. And then we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to take those picks that we had and use them to determine a definitive final 4 that we're going to debate and argue on to determine the Mount Rushmore of X. And today's Rushmore is actually, for the first time, we're going to be doing something a bit different. In the wake of the Uncharted short film that recently came out, and if you have not seen it, I highly recommend checking it out, as it's pretty damn good. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building our own dream cast for an Uncharted movie. So it's going to be a little bit different than previous episodes in that we're going to decide the roles of the 4 lead characters, and by that we're going to have Nathan Drake, Sully, Elena, and Chloe, and we've each chosen our one actor or actress to play each role, and then we're going to share our picks, and then in the second round we're going to argue who should play what role. So by the end we have a final cast, and the 4 lead protagonists are all casted and ready to go. There we go. That was easy to explain. And I'm guessing, have you guys seen that Uncharted short film?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay. What'd you guys think of it?
It was good.
Pretty good?
I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It was clearly a fan film, but with a pretty decent budget, because it's not.
It's like a fan film starring Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. I mean, they had some helicopter shots in there and some actors that I certainly recognized, but it just kind of, I don't know, it picks up in the middle of nowhere, and there's not really any kind of, I don't know, it's fine. It was good for 12 minutes or whatever it was. It was good. It was fun. I would want to see more of it. I feel like I'm being really harsh on it.
Just slowly picking it apart. Yeah. What about you, Zach? What'd you think of it?
I was really impressed with Nathan Fillion as Drake, because he, even just a few years ago, I was kind of joking that he's too old and fat to play Drake. Because if you see, he fluctuates. He's a fluctuator. Maybe he's gone keto as of late.
Yeah. It's been juice cleansing.
Yeah, cutting the carbs. But he looked great. And I was like, wow, good for him.
Yeah, I thought he did really good too, especially kind of in the wake of fans always demanding him to do it, and to kind of actually see it and have that desire kind of justified in his performance. I was like, oh, okay, I can actually, yeah, he would be a good Drake.
Yeah, I know that everybody always wanted him in that role, and I was never sold on it until that, until now.
Exactly. So I'm really excited to hear what everyone's kind of dream picks are, and I have already randomly decided the order that we go in via dice roll, and we're gonna start with you, Zach, and this will be for that starring role, Nathan Drake. We're gonna start with him first. So, Zach, who's playing Nathan Drake in your Uncharted movie?
Okay, I have an outside of the box pick.
Okay.
For my Drake. He's a little tiny bit older. I think he's about 47. Although that's about how old Fillion is, right?
Something. He's in his 40s for sure.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah. So I picked Josh Hopkins.
Josh Hopkins.
Two of the Googles.
What's
Most recently
he,
he's been on Quantico, which I haven't watched, but he does drama. But I know him from Cougar Town.
Cougar Town?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a town of cats or a town of beautiful older women?
It is a town of beautiful older women. And
That's
that was
with
like
Courtney Cox, right?
Yeah, Courtney Cox, and like it strayed from its immediate premise very, very quickly, and so it became a running gag that the title was not indicative of the show's premise.
Okay. They should have just transitioned it to actual cougars.
They should have brought a cougar or had like a zoo outbreak happen, and be like, we got to get the cougars out of this town.
Get these damn cougars.
Then like Courtney Cox in like safari clothes, and she's like, I gotta hunt some cougars. But
okay.
But I digress.
I'm looking at his picture now. I could see it like visually.
Yeah. So basically, like my hook for the Uncharted movie is that it's going to be so hard to do Uncharted without making it Indiana Jones, because it's basically Indiana Jones, but in the modern day. And I think the hook would just be leaning into how funny it is and how funny Nathan Drake is as a character.
Okay.
And I think that an actor like Josh Hopkins, so funny on Cougar Town, so quick on his feet, really like Nolan North in the role. I think he'd be a solid choice. He lacks the star power to be the A-lister in a movie, but I think he would own that if given the opportunity.
Hey, Nathan Drake, once upon a time, was an unknown.
Yeah.
True.
And look at him now.
Dude Raider. If you remember that.
Now
if you remember that line.
He went I remember. Yeah. Those were the days. Look at him. He went from being a nobody to having Nathan Fillion starring him and 3 nerds having a podcast about him.
Yeah.
So this
come a long way.
This guy was also in Perfect Storm, but I don't know what he played in that. I'm trying to figure that out. All right, Josh Hopkins. Sorry.
That's fine.
Continue to vamp while I Google.
I could his smile too. I don't know, something about his smile. I could see it.
He's got a swagger. He's got a distinct swagger.
Yes. That is a good way to describe. He's got that swagger. He was in G.I. Jane.
Oh, he played one of the helicopter pilots. Okay.
Perfect.
Yep.
That means he knows how to pilot a helicopter, so helicopter scene.
Yeah.
He will not crash it like Harrison Ford. Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. Alrighty, so Josh Hopkins, I got him scribbled down. And number 2 is you, Dan.
All right.
Who's your...
So I was going for a younger Nathan Drake. And I consulted my wife, who's more of a Hollywood expert than I am.
Okay. So, shout out to the wife.
Yep. And she did not like this pick, but whatever. It's my pick. So I went with Zak Efron as Nathan Drake. So that's a bit out there, I know. But I'm picturing this movie to be more of an origin story.
Okay. So kind of like the actual Uncharted film that they're doing. They're going the same direction with Tom Holland being cast as Drake. So okay, but Zak Efron's a bit old. Zak Efron's like 30.
He is a bit older, but like I don't know. Maybe
but he's young. Sorry. He's probably younger than Drake.
Right.
He's definitely babyface though,
I guess what I mean is I was going for more of like Drake's Fortune and not Thief's End.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay.
Zak Efron, I don't know. I think he has the comedic chops. If you've seen him in Neighbors, he was really funny in that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like exactly like Drake, and I don't know. I have maybe a little bit of trouble picturing him as like a more studious kind of, when Nate gets really nerdy about archaeology and history, but I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, you don't see Zac Efron just losing his mind over Marco Polo's Lost Fleet.
I think he can pull it off. I think there could be some challenges with the right director. I think he could pull it off. Side note, I think we should each pick the director we would want to direct his movies.
Oh God, I don't even know if I can.
A bonus round.
I don't even know if I can do that off the top of my head.
That's right.
It's like each movie has to get a different director. It's like Star Wars. So, all right. So Zac Efron, you just made the list, and my pick for Nathan Drake is probably my safest of the four, but he immediately came to mind, and that is Chris Pratt. Because come on, he more or less, he kind of already is that guy in just about everything he does. He is a smartass. He's charming, but when push comes to shove, he can be that kind of that badass, but not like an overly gritty badass. Like he's like the perfect Uncharted badass of like, oh, he can murder a bunch of dudes, but you just kind of like laugh along with it, and you don't really pay attention to the fact that he slaughtered a small army single-handedly, just because he has that innocence about him. Just his performances in, like, Guardians of the Galaxy as Star-Lord and whatever the hell his character name is in the Jurassic World series.
Owen Grady.
What is it?
Owen Grady.
Right.
Owen?
Yeah.
Okay. I still haven't seen the second one, so I've forgotten what his name was after the first one.
It's good. It's okay. I liked it.
Yeah, I want to see it. I like dinosaurs eating people. So, but yeah, if you need a Drake kind of in a pinch, he seems like the perfect guy that you could go with, and it would probably, I don't see it being bad. It would at the very least be totally solid. Like, he would make a totally solid Drake. And yeah, so Chris Pratt.
Funny, Chris Pratt was actually Tom Holland's choice to play Sully if he gets to be Drake.
Oh, good Lord, that makes me feel old.
Yeah, right? Oh my God. He's trying to it's like they're really going, I mean, because Tom Holland's like 22, something
21,
like that.
I want to say.
Yeah, 21, 22.
And
so like,
is Chris 40 yet? No, he's like 38, 39.
He's definitely pushing 40. He's up there.
Right, because he's 3 years younger than Anna.
Okay.
I just finished reading Anna's book, which is why I know this.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Unqualified shout out. Buy it now. But yeah, it talks about being 3 years older than Chris, and she's about 42.
Okay. And I think Chris is a good age because he's older, so he kind of has that like experienced feel about him, but he still is very much like a kid at heart, which Drake always feels like to me, especially when he gets super jazzed about some old thing that he found. So, yep, there we go. Chris Pratt. So, second round, we are moving on to Elena Fisher.
Elena Fisher.
So, Zach, who is playing Miss Fisher in your film?
This was the toughest one for me. It took me a while to find one who I liked. I was, because there's 100,000 blonde babes in Hollywood.
Yeah, they don't even have to necessarily be blonde. It's just like...
Yeah, so I was like... I was looking at Kate Hudson. I was looking at Naomi Watts. I looked for a while at Reese Witherspoon. And I'm like, because I adore her so much. Ooh. But I ultimately was like, I just don't see her as that character. So I settled and feel good with this. I feel good with this choice. Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, okay.
She is a very talented actor. She does everything. She's directed. She's written. She's produced. She's a starlet, but she is not defined by her looks. And Elena is that same way. You know, she's an intrepid journalist. She's a reporter. She gets her hands dirty. And thinking about it right this second, this just came to mind. She plays a journalist in Wet Hot American Summer, which is obviously a very different tone.
Yeah.
But she's like, I'm going to go get this story. And she does.
Okay. And she's already worked in a newspaper thing because she was Betty Brant in Spider-Man films.
Absolutely.
The Sam Raimi ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's crazy that you said her because she was one of my 3 that it came down to, and I didn't expect anyone to think of her. So,
we love Miss Banks.
Yes, shout out to Miss Banks. Alrighty. Daniel, Elena Fisher, who's gonna play her?
Okay. So this is another one that I consulted my wife on, and I actually think I'm gonna go against her.
Yeah, I'm afraid you can't nominate your wife.
Again. Shoot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go against her choice again. She wanted Julia Stiles, and I just can't see that. It's just not working for me. So I'm going with Kristen Bell.
Okay.
So I like.
She was
I
also
like
on my short list.
Yeah, I think she'd be good as Elena. I really like. Oh my God, The Good Place, and she's really funny in that. But she would have to be kind of more of a straight guy, but she'd still have to carry some of the comedic weight a little bit. So
yeah,
and I think she could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was in. I haven't seen it yet, but she's in Frozen, right? Wait, wasn't she Veronica Mars?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. I was like, I always like for some reason when I hear her name, I forget who she is briefly, and I'm like, oh no, that's the Veronica Mars chick, right?
Yeah.
And she's Anna in Frozen.
Yep. And
okay. Yeah, I still haven't seen Frozen, by the way. I'm like the only person on Earth that still has not seen Frozen.
Oh man, I've seen it more times than I care to admit. My daughter's fault.
Yeah.
She was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall too. She's good.
House of Lies on Showtime.
Right. Yep. That too.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but yep.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's seen it, but it went on for like 5 seasons. I don't think anyone watched it outside of the immediate friends and family of the people who worked on that show, but like Don Cheadle had a show.
Never pour one out for Don Cheadle's show. Don Cheadle's show. Okay. Alrighty, so my Elena, which is also was my hardest casting choice, and even at this very moment, I'm going back and forth between the two, but I'm going to go with Amy Adams.
She was on my short list too.
Okay, nice. We all had someone on our short list. Look at that. Yeah, she fits that kind of girl next door feeling that Elena has, or at least to me, she's always kind of radiated that feeling. She's funny, but not like I don't know, like not like crazy over the top, like comedian funny, I guess, for lack of a more eloquent term to describe it. But she can be funny in like a cute way, which Elena certainly is. I think she just comes off as very genuine when I watch her, and that's one of the things I love about Elena as a character. She's like, she feels like a real, like a chick I would genuinely want to hang out with and just like talk about random stuff. And I've always thought that about Amy Adams. So, and she's already been a journalist in those DC films as Lois Lane. So that's basically her audition tape, is all those movies.
This'll be good for something.
Yeah.
DC Slam! Sorry, that was inappropriate.
It's okay. I mean, I don't like those movies either, but except for Wonder Woman. I like that one. But yeah, so that was my short list. I'm just gonna mention as an honorable mention, it came down between her and my somewhat left field choice of Kristen Wiig.
Ah, she was on my short list.
Oh my God! Look at this. Look at that. We're just simpatico tonight with Elena. Man. Yeah, I went back and forth between Kristen and Amy, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with Amy. But and then my third was Elizabeth Banks. So
my second though was Emily Rose, who plays her in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, she looks more like her as the games goes on, which is funny, but she looks less like her than, say, Nolan North does to Drake in Uncharted 4.
Yeah. Every time I hear her name, I think of that Exorcism movie from like 2005.
Isn't Emily Rose the name of the little girl from Clifford the Big Red Dog?
Is it? I don't even know if I knew her last name. Her name was Emily, definitely. I think, right?
Oh,
I didn't know her
no,
last
it was
name.
Emily Elizabeth. I was close.
Oh, two.
I was close.
That's a terrible name.
Those were my jam when I was in kindergarten.
Okay. I bet a grown up Emily. That's a weird name to say. Emily Elizabeth. 2 E names that are first names. Huh.
Yeah, she's a superhero.
I guess. Okay. So we've got our Elena picks. Let's move on to Mr. Victor Sullivan, the old grizzled mentor man. So, Zach, who is Sully?
Oh my god. This is going to be a really short round because this is the only choice. I apologize to whoever your choices are, but I have been set on this for years.
Chris
Don
Pratt.
Johnson.
Say again?
Don Johnson.
Don Johnson.
Yes. He was the lead on the greatest television show of all time, Miami Vice. And
Was he the mullet guy?
he was the one who was not black.
Yeah.
The one that was not black.
Yeah, he's the mullet guy.
Yeah, the mullet guy.
No. He never had a mullet.
Did he? Oh, okay.
I'm looking at a picture on Google right now with
thought he
him
did.
with a mullet.
In seasons 4 and 5, it got longer, but it was more like, it was more like a lion shaggy kind of cut.
Yeah, it slowly started to take over his very being.
Although in season 3, he had kind of. Season 3 is funny because I think it's the best season, but it has the worst fashion. He has almost a mullet where it's got that short and it's kind of spiked in the front, but there's just nothing in the back. It's just short.
Okay.
But from the
And I'm
front, it
guessing
could be mistaken for a mullet.
He probably would not have the mullet as Sully.
In recent years, he has made a new name for himself as like a go-to character actor. He was in Django Unchained. He was in Machete.
Who was he in Django?
He was Big Daddy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, crap. Okay.
With the white suit, and he had the first plantation.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
I would recite some of his lines, but they all have profanity that I'm not going to repeat.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that. But
and then most recently he was in Brawl in Cell Block 99,
gotcha.
which very quickly is becoming like the go-to cult hit of last year.
I haven't heard of it.
Nope.
But it's a hot recommendation, you're saying?
Oh yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. You should watch it now. Real hot. Not for the squeamish.
Okay.
It's like one part prison crime drama, and then one part like 1970s grindhouse craziness. And he plays the warden of the prison.
Sounds good. I hope he has a mullet in it. The mullet keeps the inmates
There are
under
no
control.
mullets. There are no Don Johnson mullets.
That's too bad. That's why Prison Break probably wouldn't have happened.
That's why Miami
The
Vice
mullet.
holds up. It sidestepped the mullet.
Inmates respect the mullet. That's just all I'm saying.
But yeah, he is my choice. If listen to like any of his line readings, even from the old show when he was young.
Yeah.
And he's just it's a different charm, it's a different quality in his voice than Sully's very bombastic style.
Yeah.
But I think he can definitely nail it. Just perfect. He's the best choice.
Okay, so I will write Don Best Choice Johnson is your entry. And Daniel, can your choice supplant Don Johnson as the quote unquote best choice?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Hit us with it.
All right, but I will say this this choice would require this actor to actually act, which he hasn't really been required to do since about the early 90s. Because he's basically just played him the same role.
Rick Moranis.
Since the early 90s.
Bruce Willis.
Harrison Ford.
Ah! Ooh, meta.
Yeah, it was a little bit meta. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit too meta.
Wow. It's crazy. He never even crossed my mind, but I could see that.
It almost seems off limits. But that is a bold choice.
I think
maybe it's because it's like he probably would not do it.
Right, exactly. That's probably the biggest problem is that he would never do this.
Or like he would get confused. He'd show up with the hat, and they'd be like, "Oh no, Harrison."
Close, but not quite. Like you're not. This is the Indiana Jones story where you're not the star. Which actually, that should be right up his alley. He's like, "Hey, you don't really have to put as much work into this."
He would have to act a little bit though, because Sully is a lot more charming than he's been in recent years. But
yeah,
he's Han Solo charming, Indiana Jones charming, which Harrison Ford just hasn't really had to act like in a long time.
Yeah, and I guess to be fair to Harrison, his most recent roles like Rick Deckard and even Han Solo, they're kind of hard asses to a degree, especially Rick Deckard. So I would be fascinated to watch Harrison try to do this, actually.
Yeah. I think...
especially if he grows a mustache.
It would put butts in seats. That's what matters.
It draws him in.
Mm-hmm.
I see the house, great things in our future, kid. Great.
That's not how El Dorado works. All right. Harrison Ford. Now I'm just thinking about it, and it gets me excited. I legitimately want to see him do that.
This is fun.
I like
this is
Harrison
fun
Ford.
Podcast. You're smart. You came up with this.
Oh, well, you know. But yeah, Harrison Ford has always been one of my favorite actors, like ever. Like he's one of those dudes that if I see him on TV, I just stop what I'm doing and I'll watch him. I just like Harrison Ford, and I think a lot of that has to do with childhood. Like he's two of my favorite childhood characters. So.
Yeah.
I always said that people in my generation, our generation, grew up watching 6 movies and they all starred Harrison Ford.
Pretty much, like two of the all-time coolest movie characters are Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know he was in Land Before Time, but all right.
I watched that too. It was 6 and also other movies.
Yeah, he was Littlefoot, and he was only in the first movie because he found out that they were going to make more of them, and he was confused as to why the meteor did not hit after the first movie, so he would never have to do it again.
No, you misunderstood.
He played the T-Rex.
So, he actually played Sharptooth, yeah.
Okay. He's like, all I have to do is fucking roar, is that what you're saying? He just, okay.
Sounds good. $1 million? All right, I'll take it.
Sure, whatever. When's the meteor hitting? So I don't have to do this. Okay, so my pick is, even though Harrison Ford is quite a titan and Don Johnson is best choice, I think my choice is going to be undebatable. It's just the undisputed best pick.
There are strong feelings about Sully's casting. I love this.
Sully was the one that was somewhat the easiest.
High stakes.
Okay, so my Sully is J.K. Simmons.
Interesting.
Huh.
One, he is the appropriate age. He's got a similar look, just physically. Like, if you just slap a mustache on his face, it's basically Sully. Put him in a little Hawaiian shirt or something.
Yeah.
And also, he has that kind of like gruff, that kind of like suave gruffness about him, where I could see him being that mentor that's also a giant smartass. Because J.K. Simmons is quite a smartass.
He's got the voice too, the gravelly kind of voice.
Yeah, like he has a very distinct voice, which Sully also has.
Right.
So I think that he checks off most of the boxes for a good Victor Sullivan. And could you imagine him paired with, say, Chris Pratt? Because Chris Pratt's the best Drake, of course. And those two going back and forth would be pretty entertaining. But regardless of who Drake is, I think Simmons is always really great in a lot of his roles. And I think that this is just right up his alley in general. So, yep, that's all I got to say about him. J.K. Simmons.
It's actually
that's
a
Sully.
pretty good choice. I like that.
I have a feeling that that's going to be like the longest part of phase 2 of this show.
It's deciding Sully. Okay. And that brings us to our final character, probably rivaling Elena as the hardest pick. We have Chloe Fraser. Zach, who is Chloe?
It took me a while to come up with my Chloe, but when I did, I was like, oh my god, why did it take me this long? Of course. It's the only person. So, I wanted to respect her ethnicity, although it's kind of funny because I don't think there's any hints that she's supposed to be Indian until
Lost Legacy.
Yeah. The Lost Legacy, right?
Like I if there was, I didn't notice them.
And she also looks
So,
different. Like, oh, she's distinctly more ethnic looking. She's more just like a tan British person.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, was that an intentional thing, or is it more like the technology is better? So like, oh, we can actually actuate this a bit better, and also her being an Indian garb helped.
Yeah. So first I was like looking at Indian actors, and I'm like, well, but she's also, she's more mixed. And then I was looking at white actors, and it was like, well, now I'm racist. And then I found someone who is like the perfect mix, and who really does look a lot like the character, I think. Rona Mitra.
Rona Mitra?
Yeah.
Is it like R-O-N-A?
R-H-O-N-A.
R-H-O-N. Oh, okay.
She was in Boston Legal. She was in the Underworld prequel that didn't have Kate Beckinsale. And she was in the post-apocalyptic movie Doomsday.
She was also
She's been around.
She was in the Netflix comedy with the guys from Workaholics. What's that called?
Oh, yeah, she was in that. I saw that, but I don't remember what it was called.
The only reason I know this is because she's my pick as well.
Aha!
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've seen anything.
That one I can think of.
I'm looking at her filmography. I think the only thing of hers that I've watched, and I don't even remember seeing her in it, was Nip Tuck back in the day.
And she was also Lara Croft.
When?
She was a model, when she was a model in the 90s. They
okay.
had, like, every year they'd do a different Lara Croft, and she'd, like, be Lara Croft at events and stuff. And she was her. She was Lara for 1 year. And she was in pictures and magazines and all that. It was a different time.
Huh. Nice. And that's cool. Alrighty. Rona Mitra. And did you want to stick with that pick too, Daniel, or did you have like a backup that you want to
No, that's my pick. I like her a lot. I had never even heard of her, honestly, and then my wife pointed out who she was, and Game Over Man, that's what it is. And
Game Over Man.
I'd seen that, and it's an okay movie, but like she was
not enough severed penises.
No, she's just seems like she could absolutely pull it off, and I would want her to be like I feel like Chloe has to be like kind of the other woman, so she has to be kind of threatening and good looking, but also like ambiguous in her morality, and I think she could nail that. So, and she is British with Indian. She's half Indian, half.
Okay.
I don't know what else, but she has Indian heritage.
She's like she's British, but her family is Indian and Irish.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah,
and she's pretty.
She is very pretty.
Yes. All right. So I don't know if this is going to be able to stack up or not. So like Elena, I had 3 Chloes that were neck to neck. And honestly, I could go with either one of them for different reasons. But I think for this one, I'm going to take a little bit of a left field pick. and go with Margot Robbie. I'm gonna pick her.
Interesting.
Obviously, she lacks the Indian element, so I'm kind of having to be one of those people, and just like, yeah, like I respect it, but like just in the I'm hoping that everything else that she offers can like supersede all like that detail. I think she would, because Chloe is like the quintessential like femme fatale chick, especially when you first meet her.
Right.
So in that context, I think that Robbie, one, is charismatic as hell, as Chloe herself is, and I think she's got that like legit kind of like dangerous sexiness to her that the character will call for. Just looking at her, I can kind of see her just like, and I guess we've seen her in like, you know, like actiony stuff like Suicide Squad or whatever. And she's also a great, or at least she's proven to me at least to be a really great character actress. So I think she would have a ball with Chloe. And out of the other three, I feel like, I don't know, she would be, she's just the best, I guess, for me. So yeah, like I said, a little bit of a weird pick, but I'm gonna go with Margot Robbie for Chloe Fraser.
It's interesting because I saw her when I was doing research for like ideas for Elena. She was one of the ideas that people put out on the internet as to play Elena. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe.
I feel like she's too vampy to be Elena.
Yeah, definitely. I don't see it at all.
It's like you never know. Maybe she could pull it off, but just face value, you're like, And just since my other choices were so close, I'll do just two quick honorable mentions for Chloe. One of them was Emily Blunt, and the other was Lily James. So there we go. But Margot Robbie beats those two. So that's it. Right. So it looks like we've got our 6 or whatever, how many, I can't count. We've got our casts. So to run down what we have, just to review. So for Nathan Drake, we've got Josh Hopkins, Zac Efron, and Chris Pratt. For Elena Fisher, we have Elizabeth Banks, Kristen Bell, and Amy Adams. For Victor Sullivan, we've got Don Johnson, Harrison Ford, and J.K. Simmons. And for Chloe Fraser, we've got Rona Mitra versus Margot Robbie. So we're going to leave it there. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we are going to pick these cast members apart. And we're going to build our dream Uncharted movie cast. So we'll be right back.
All right, let's do the ad read. this podcast.
Hey!
Are
you tired? Are you tired of your were you sitting on your couch just now and is it just killing your bones, your body bones, the bones that carry your body? Is it making those not feel that great?
Yeah. My backbones are like not feeling that great.
Yeah, your back, I can see like the disc in your spine, they're having a meeting and none of them are happy.
Yeah, all my discs are effed up.
They are about to revolt. But fear not, because we have a couch for you. It is the dream couch.
Dream couch?
The dream couch.
Dream couch?
Yeah, they call it that because it is the couch of your dreams. Isn't that crazy? What a name.
The couch of my dreams has... Wait, who did we say? Margot Robbie, Elizabeth Banks, Reese Witherspoon?
Like, are we just naming ladies?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're all part of my dream couch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they could sit on the dream couch because it's really big, and so it could fit all of them, and maybe more. You could probably fit Lily James there.
Probably fit Don Johnson on that.
Yeah, he'll probably want to sit on that thing. Why? Who wouldn't want to sit on that thing? Frankly, it's made out of memory foam and down and all those other soft things that make your body go wee when you sit on them. Just enjoy. So yeah, all you have to. And what's great is that it comes in a little cube. Like you just add water and that thing just explodes in your house. It's like Like, no more carrying up the stairs. Like, no more getting a small army to try to maneuver this unwieldy piece of furniture through your small front door. It's just like, nope, you just fucking Dragon Ball Z Capsule Corp that shit into your house, and it's just ready to go.
Also, how great of an idea is that? Like, all joking aside, holy cow, you bring your furniture inside, and then it expands, like Ant-Man technology.
Oh, like the actual Capsule Corp thing? Like, oh, you just hit a button and throw it, and then poof, there it is. That is pretty cool. I don't know how that works. It's kind of like Pokeball technology.
Yeah, like George Jetson's car folded up and became a briefcase.
Yeah, Bulma once transported an entire warehouse in a capsule.
You know I've never watched that.
Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, never, nope.
Or just Dragon Ball and anything?
Nah. I think I must have seen a couple episodes like after school on Cartoon Network when I'd come home, but it was just never...
People screaming and talking about power levels.
Yeah, there was so much... It was like they just fight for the whole episode. It's like it's animated, so it's not like exciting stunt work or anything. It's just,
I mean, it's pretty badass. Fights, you're like, oh man, look at the shit, they're blowing up shit. Mountains guys are getting shot. Kicking each other through mountains and canyons and doing cool axe handles and elbows. The Dream Couch. Sit on your dreams today. Hey, welcome back. It is time to assemble our Dreamcast of Uncharted movie characters, whatever you want to call them. The Uncharted movie. Who's playing who? We've got our Drakes, our Elenas, our Sullys, and our Chloes. So, the floor is open, gentlemen. Who do we want to champion? Who do you want to start with? Who's the biggest shoo-in for who, do you feel?
Rona.
Because for me...
Yeah, I mean, Rona.
Oh, yeah, I guess Rona. Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess you guys both have Rona, so, like, I'm automatically outvoted, so...
And no offense.
No consideration.
No offense, I'm coming on your show, but I'm telling you that Margot Robbie's a terrible pick. I just didn't want to say it before.
Oh, no, you
very
can tell
racist. You're very
oh, that's
racist.
fine. This is the idea. This is the segment where you absolutely can crap all over my picks and hurt my feelings.
If we had included Nadine, you would have picked Benedict Cumberbatch to play Nadine.
Honestly, he probably could have pulled it off.
Probably could have, yeah.
You know what I should have done is negate everyone's picks and just put Daniel Day-Lewis for everything. Because he would have done good enough.
The only thing that makes me more mad than casting Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan is the fact that he is so good as Khan.
That's right. Yeah. He was.
Like, I'm so mad that I was so mad that it was him, but then I was even more mad that he was so good.
I haven't seen the last Star Trek, but I heard that he was Khan.
That was the one before the last one, right?
Yeah, Into Darkness.
Oh, wait, no, that was the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into Darkness, yeah. Okay, I did see that. That's right, I forgot. I watched him recently in The Imitation Game. He was good in that. That's a irrelevant thing, but I'm just going to mention that.
Good movie. Benedict Cumberbatch. Nadine. Boom.
Yeah, shout out to Benedict Cumberbatch. You should play Nadine Ross. And Daniel Day-Lewis should be Elena.
Motion capture. They can do that.
Yeah, he'll just transform himself into a woman for the role, like he always does. So,
yeah.
So it looks like Chloe. Chloe is officially Rona Mitra.
Cool.
All right. Let's start with Drake. Let's just get into Drake. He's a star.
Yeah.
I think all three of these have, like, I don't think either of them outright suck.
Yeah, I think all of our choices have pros and cons.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it's going to end up going to Nathan Fillion by default.
And Nathan Fillion runs in at the last minute and just carves himself on the mountain.
Yeah, he just sweeps in. I mean, like, because I like my choice because it's my choice and my choice is the best choice. Except he's just not. He's not an A-list star. He is best known for his TV work and supporting characters. I never watched Quantico, but I mean, he was in that. Zach Efron. I'm actually kind of warming up to the idea of Zach Efron in that role. A little young. I like him because he's a little older than Tom Holland, and right. I'd have a problem if Tom Holland was Nate and Chris Pratt was Sully, because then Nate would be the sidekick in his own movie.
Yeah.
And, like, if that's what ends up happening, that's just what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, I think the whole time I would just be like, why isn't Chris Pratt just Nate? Why is he the sidekick?
But then I don't know if I love Chris Pratt, because he's a little too earthy.
Too earthy?
Too earthy, too barrel-chested, not like Nate's got a degree of metropolitan, like he's a city slicker.
Yep.
And Chris is so Washington State, salt of the earth. He's a lumberjack. He's barrel-chested. He's a big guy. He's a big old hunk of love.
But realistically, this is also a character who, on the regular, swings around and climbs mountains and does a lot of very strenuous activity. So,
right, which requires a leaner figure.
I mean, Chris isn't like jacked.
He's pretty jacked.
And plus he could slim down a bit for the role.
Oh, he said never again.
I mean, he's not like starving himself. He's not going to be like, he's not going to be Hugh Jackman and like Les Miserables.
Christian Bale and
or the Machinist, the Machinist, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Yeah, just lean a little bit. I think I say Chris is probably the safest of the three.
He is.
But
yeah, I like Chris Pratt in it because he's Chris Pratt, and every character he plays is very much like Nathan Drake. But that's also the problem with Chris Pratt, in my opinion, because that's just him, and I feel like he's being typecast as that guy. It's very much like a Harrison Ford kind of situation. And I don't know. I feel like they can do something different with it.
Okay. So do you think he's the weakest of the three? Because I think my main thing with Zak Efron is just his age. So it's like if you pick him, it almost depends on who he's cast with to make it work, and not even entirely just himself.
I think he could work with any of the three Sullys that we went with.
You think he'd work with Harrison Ford? That's a big age gap.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. All right, so...
Well, I mean, I kind of like that, though. I like the idea, like Marty and Doc Brown.
Right?
Yeah, but,
Back to the Future.
I mean, if you're trying to remain somewhat faithful to the games, it's not a Marty Doc Brown relationship.
No, it's true.
It's a little bit. Like their ages are a little bit closer than Marty and Doc Brown, obviously. But
yeah.
That same kind of general thing, like, he's the wizened old mentor, and Nate is not as wise as his years. He's a lot more, not juvenile, but reckless, free spirit.
Yeah, I feel like if you have someone as old as Ford, because the thing about Drake is that, yeah, he's younger, but he's also old enough to where like he is very much experienced, and he'll show Sully like a thing or two more often or not. You know what I mean? Whereas it's like, would that be as believable with someone on the younger side with Zach of like, hey, old timer, let me show you something you didn't know. And this game that you've been doing longer than me.
Yeah, I think that Zak Efron is that weird, he's too old to be the Tom Holland, the Uncharted 3 dynamic. Mm-hmm. But he's too young to be the rest of Uncharted dynamic.
See, that's the thing. I think he's perfect as like the Drake's Fortune Nathan Drake, and then he would grow into that Thief's End Nathan Drake eventually. I don't know. I think he's good for that.
Yeah, it's so funny because I don't want to discard any of these because except Chris Pratt. I'm kind of over Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt, but like I'm over him as Drake.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't have to. We can come back to Drake if it's still.
Sell me on Josh Hopkins though.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I'm underplaying my own thing, or hoping that you guys will eliminate each other. Well, okay. So my idea, and I think it comes from our casting, comes from our idea of what Uncharted is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Uncharted is, it's Indiana Jones in the modern day and with a stronger emphasis on comedy. Indiana Jones movies are very funny, but, Indiana Jones is not as edge of his seat, edge of his skills as Nathan Drake is. Like, basically when Nathan Drake sees a helicopter, you're like, oh boy, or let's go back. When Indiana Jones sees a helicopter, you go, okay, he's going to be able to get that thing where it needs to go, one way or the other. He might crash when he lands, but, he'll make it work. When Nathan Drake gets into a helicopter, you go, oh my god, this isn't going to end well. And hilarity ensues and a lot of stuff breaks. And Josh is a comic actor, but he's done lots of drama here and there. But he is best known for his role in Cougar Town. He is so funny. He's such a great part of an ensemble, and my favorite parts of any Uncharted are when your group is at its biggest. When it's Drake and Elena and Sully and Chloe and Jeff the cameraman all together and just bouncing off each other. And, it's very much like a sitcom vibe.
We should have figured out someone to play Sam the cameraman.
Oh, well, that's obviously, well, that'll just be me. I'll do that.
Okay. Thank you for volunteering.
Hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do it for the movie.
Yeah. I would say that if Chris Pratt is gonna go, I would prefer Josh over Zach.
And he really has the look. Like,
he really does. Out of the three, he has in terms of just pure visual resemblance, he's got it.
There's more to these than just like the headshot, but just looking at the headshot, it's like, holy cow, it's him.
Yeah, and again, bodies can change. That's what gyms are for.
And he does have the leaner Drake physique.
Yeah,
Sully's the one who's a lot stockier, bulkier, who could punch someone through a wall.
Let me see, which of the three looks best with their shirt half untucked?
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that would have to probably be... Okay, if the shirt's on, then Hopkins. But if the shirt's off, probably gonna have to give that to Zach.
Well, I mean, Drake never has his shirt off.
That's true, we've never seen Drake's nipples, have we?
Yeah, it just has to, be half tucked in, and then the other half's untucked.
Did we ever see them, poking out of the shirt, maybe? Like, he got out of the cold water?
They haven't figured that tech out yet.
Yeah, that's PlayStation 5.
PS5.
We don't have the poly count to without crashing the machine. So,
I mean, if we're okay, yeah.
I will drop Chris, but if I drop Chris, then my vote would go to Josh.
Right. So I guess, is he due for a star turn? Does he have what it takes to be a star? I guess.
I think like Drake, Josh is versatile in that he can carry action. He can carry, or in that Drake can carry action, romance, adventure, historical fiction, and existential stuff that he gets into in 3 and 4. Josh is the kind of actor who really can do, he can do anything. And in Cougar Town, it's not all laughs and laughs. They get into some drama here and there, and he carries that too.
There's always the benefit sometimes of having an unknown play a really popular role, because you're not assigning an expectation to you already have the expectation what the character should be, but then you don't have that other expectation that would be a burden that Zach and Chris would have because they're so well known. So you're like, is this Chris Pratt just being Chris Pratt, or is it him being...
Yeah, that's my big fear with Chris Pratt, is that it would be too similar to his other roles, and we wouldn't be seeing an incarnation of Nathan Drake. We would be seeing more Chris Pratt, and I love Chris Pratt. I would love to see more Chris Pratt. I'll watch him in pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But I'd rather see
the irony
Nathan
of
Drake.
that. The irony of that is that you could argue the same for Nathan Fillion. because Nathan Fillion is kind of always Nathan Fillion, which is by default Nathan Drake, and why he's so perfect. You can say Nathan Drake is basically the video game Nathan Fillion. It's like this weird circle.
Yeah, there is a very distinct like overlap that is much more concrete now that fan film has been doing so well.
Like
also the
anyone
big
that's
guy,
watched Firefly,
the big guy in that fan film, the big huge guy in the beginning,
the guy that was interrogating him.
Yeah, with the deep voice.
Yeah.
He was in Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say that he should play Chloe. So like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Trying to dethrone.
He's a better choice than Margot Robbie. Oh.
You might be right. I don't want to discount big guy.
Yeah, you know
man,
what? I think I could concede the Josh Hopkins thing because
okay.
I think what I agree with you. You sold me when you said like you want somebody who is kind of a clean slate and people aren't going to go in with all these preconceived notions of who this actor is. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so you're welcome, Zach. And we have our Drake, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Josh Hopkins.
Awesome.
So we've got...
You made the right choice.
We could just shorten it to Jopkins.
Mr. Jopkins, as his friends call him. And now we've got Elena and Sully.
We should do Elena first.
Okay.
You know Sully's gonna be a knock. We're friendly now.
Is Sully gonna be the blood? Sully, the bloodbath is with Sully.
Sully might be a fight, yeah.
I don't know, Elena. I don't. These three, all of them could do it. I'm trying to decide who's the weakest.
Okay, we've got Elizabeth Banks, Amy Adams, and
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell. Man, those are three really good. I mean. Okay, what is everyone else thinking? I feel like I've been talking too much.
It's funny because we all had each other's, like, on our shirt list, we all had one. Like, Elizabeth Banks is one that I considered.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm kind of on your side on that. But Kristen Bell is not a bad choice either.
Yeah.
It's one that I didn't expect either.
Yeah, I considered all three on mine. I will say that I considered Kristen Bell for longer than I considered Amy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's funny because when you were describing Amy Adams as like so approachable, someone you can actually talk to, I was kind of the opposite. I was like, no, I'm intimidated by Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's scary.
She's like the most down.
She's like super intense.
Really? Have you ever like seen her? Like she's like the most like anti-celebrity. Like she's kind of like to a degree Harrison Ford, but without the kind of like intent, like going out of his way to be unfriendly, even though he kind of isn't. But like she's in the same thing of like she finds a lot of the celebrity lifestyle just silly, and she's just like, I'm just a dude. So
she's just trying to get her family back.
Yeah, like she's like the most like, oh, I just hang out with my kid and my husband. We don't like do any of that crap. Like a lot of that star Hollywood stuff is really dumb. like I don't let it go to my head, basically. I don't know. So I don't know. Because of that, I was like, oh, she seems like super cool. But who? I mean, I is Amy the oldest of the three? Probably.
Elizabeth
Amy's
is 44, and I think Amy's about that age.
Yeah, she might even be a year younger. So I guess Kristen's the youngest.
But even she's like 38. July 18th, 1980. Happy birthday, Kristen.
Oh, okay. So they're all roughly the same
Amy
age.
Adams is 43. Yeah.
Okay, so Elizabeth is actually the oldest.
Okay. Huh. Is it? I wonder if it's like if I'm thinking of them in a vacuum as Elena, or if I'm thinking if they would be best with Josh Hopkins.
I'm trying to think of both, and
yeah,
I really like all three of these. If I had, I mean, right now I've got it between Elizabeth and Kristen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
I'm trying to picture Amy in the role, but I'm not. because I know that she would knock it out of the park because she's amazing. But I can picture Elizabeth and Kristen much faster. Maybe it's because they're blonde. I mean, obviously, Amy Adams has been blonde in movies. But,
she was blonde in Arrival.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that I
guess
worry
I'm
about...
by default going like...
The one thing that I worry about with Kristen Bell is that I don't know... I don't know how well she would do being the straight man in this situation. Because Elena really does have to kind of be the straight man to Drake and Sully a lot of times.
Yeah, like she's like the adult, basically. Yeah. And the other two are big kids.
Okay, when you put it that way, then now I'm leaning more towards Amy.
Yeah, like Kristen... I mean, again, she's like only like a year, between 1 and 3 years younger than the other ladies. Amy and I guess and Elizabeth to a degree. I don't know, Amy just looks like she looks like visually like the most mature of the three. Like she has that. I don't know if it's her being a mom. I mean, I don't. The other two might be parents too. I don't know.
This podcast and tell her that you said she looked old.
No, I said mature. I said mature. I didn't say old. It's very different. She has a like I said, like when we're saying that Elena is the adult in the relationship between her and Drake and Sully. If you're looking at it like that, then to me, Amy is the winner. And if we're going pure acting chops, I'd probably give that to Amy too.
Yeah, she does have the Oscar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What's she win for? It looks like she only has 5 nominations, but no actual Oscars yet.
Only 5.
I still think she's the better actress of the three.
And she's a lot of fun in that she has range. Like she can, like Elena can be very serious, and also can be. Like she'll surprise you sometimes, where she'll say something that's genuinely really funny. I think because so many times she is kind of the straight man to Drake, that you sometimes forget that she's funny too until she says something really charming or like quippy, and you're like, oh, that's right, that was good, you got him. And Amy's shown that in some of her roles. Like she's done goofier stuff. She's done a Muppets movie that one time.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I'm really reconsidering.
I think like now I'm taking, like we've talked about, like the adultness of Elena, like that makes Kristen look the weakest to me.
And also, how great is that? I think we should just take a moment to appreciate that we are loving all 3 of these choices, not because they are all beautiful ladies, but because they are all so talented and capable of holding their own in this very difficult role. Like the way she changes as the games go by, I can see them all just totally owning that.
Yeah. And shout out to us, because we know how to pick.
We knocked it out of the park.
Right.
We've got good taste.
Who else would have thought of Josh Hopkins? And now it's like everyone listening to this, their whole world.
I don't even think Josh Hopkins would have thought of Josh Hopkins.
He probably doesn't even know what Uncharted is.
It's uncharted territory for him.
Yeah.
It's my terrible joke of the show.
We'll fix it in post.
See, we were saying that Sully would be the hard one, but turns out Elena is man.
He's probably listening to this right now because he's a huge Uncharted fan and he's crying with tears of joy.
He's like sitting there with his shirt half untucked, holding a like compass, just ready to go. He's like, "Oh, am I gonna get the call or what?"
It'd be amazing. Like next week, we all get like a box of flowers in the mail, and it's from Josh Hopkins.
Okay, he's like, "Can't believe that Holland kid took my role."
Yeah, freaking Tom Holland.
Fucking
I love
Spider-Man
Tom Holland, but
beat me.
I don't think that's gonna work out.
I'm not a fan of.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I was like, I love him as Spider-Man. He's the best Spider-Man to me, but Like, I'll reserve judgment till I see it, but my initial reaction is, eh.
I don't think it's even gonna enter production. It's not gonna make it.
I don't either.
That's true. It's like every video game movie ever. I don't believe it till it's in the theaters.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of going back and doing the young Drake. And, I don't know, because then where's Elena? And I don't know. Elena is she is a part of the heart and soul of Uncharted.
Yeah, it's like the Carrie.
They'll just say they're childhood friends or something. They'll just change it they knew each other since grade school. Since the angle of that movie is young Drake, I hope the tagline for the movie is he started from the bottom.
No, it'll just be
to really just miss the point of that series, and to at the same time be the biggest cash grab of hey, let's just appeal to everything.
No, the tagline will be greatness from small beginnings.
Yep, there it is, right there.
Why not? Okay, so
and it'll be self-thinking. It'll be patting itself on the back. Oh, okay, greatness from small beginnings. Good, because it's a prequel. Nah.
Okay, so let's do a hard, cut. Let's cut someone from Elena. So I'm going to go around and you name one lady to cut from the Elena list so we can get down to 2. So, Zach, gun to your head, which one of these ladies would you cut?
Amy Adams.
Okay. Daniel?
She was my pick, but actually, you know what? No, screw it. Who was your pick, Zach?
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks. Yeah, I don't like her in that role. So Elizabeth Banks. I was gonna say Kristen Bell, but Elizabeth Banks. I don't like her as that. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I actually think I'm gonna go with Amy Adams.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say Kristen Bell, but it looks like Amy Adams is out.
No.
I
would go with her in the role.
He's throwing in for her.
Yeah.
Oh! I'm asking who would you?
Yeah,
cut?
no. I would cut Kristen Banks. I mean, oh my God, Elizabeth Banks.
So he would cut both of them.
Yes.
Okay. So Kristen Bell is out, and I would also cut Kristen Bell. So we got Amy Adams and Elizabeth Banks.
Did it?
No, sorry.
Really.
But
each cut. Yeah. Okay.
You said you would vote for Amy, and I would vote for Amy. So that sounds like Amy is Elena.
Well,
I can just.
I feel like one person we have not spoken about in this is Elizabeth Banks.
Talked about her. What else? What more would you like to add to it?
Well, just she's got that the same versatility that Amy Adams has. I think she looks more like Elena, and
she's got her face has a what's the word I'm looking for? That's not going to sound horrible. It's got a sharpness to it, whereas Elena has a softness to her face.
She looks too model
that Amy has.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a model-y pretty, which is great, just not for this.
Okay.
Okay,
I just wanted to talk it through because I am leaning towards Amy.
This is the uncomfortable part of the show where 3 guys sit around and judge 3 women.
By their appearance, yes. Yes, armchair beauty judges. But we mean it in a respectful light. Yeah. So, all right. So we have Amy Adams. She is Elena Fisher. And now, after that surprisingly tough one, we get to maybe this will be easier. Maybe it'll be a surprise. Sully, Don Johnson, Harrison Ford, J.K. Simmons. And we all seem very strong about our picks, it seems like. I don't see the other 2 being as perfectly suited on multiple levels as J.K. Simmons.
I don't see J.K. Simmons in a fist fight.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird because he is such a workout guy. J.K. Simmons in real life is such a workout guy, but he's also so lean and sinewy. He looks like
It's not like
he's got
Sully's
like an Iggy Pop
ripped.
shape. He's got an Iggy Pop figure.
To be fair, Sully, at face value, you wouldn't think he would maybe get into like too many scraps. You're like, oh, that old guy, he's like the grandpa, and you're like, oh crap, no, he's kicking ass.
Yeah, but he's like the tough-looking grandpa who like always wants to arm wrestle with the 20-year-olds and then beats them.
So is J.K. Simmons. He looks like a tough, like he looks like one of those like ornery old guys that you probably don't want to cross.
Yeah, but okay. Okay, here's really my thing about J.K. Simmons. Not hot enough.
Oh,
Not a hot guy.
interesting.
So great. I love him so much. The Closer? Come on. But
I don't think
not
think
attractive. Not conventionally attractive.
you haven't seen him in a mustache. Or maybe you have. Did he have a mustache in
Bring me
Batman?
bring me pictures of Shambhala.
Oh, I guess that's true. It was a Hitler
Hitler
stash. Different mustache.
It was a little
Did he
wider
have
than
a-
it was in the comics, fortunately.
That's true. Yeah, they really interesting choice for the movies. I can't remember. Did he have a mustache as Commissioner
I think
Gordon?
he did, yeah. It was like a kind of big, bushy, like animated series mustache.
Yeah, it's like I feel like he did.
But like even
yeah.
even with the like even though he's a workout guy, yes, and even with the big, the hat and like the detective trench coat, he still looks like a pencil.
Well, he won't be wearing a trench coat in this. He'll be wearing a collared shirt, probably.
Well, the trench coat's supposed to
Yeah.
make him look broader, but like if he's in a collared bowling shirt, like his Sully's uniform, he'll just look like a little guy. He'll look like a little guy.
I will say that Sully has a very strong personality. I think that Simmons has the strongest personality of the three.
I think he's fine looking for an older gentleman. I think he looks good. He's like, I don't know, if I was an older lady and he was chatting me up at a bar about a hooker he took to church, I'd probably let him be.
You took a hooker to church?
That's a very specific conversation. Harrison Ford is probably the weakest one, maybe.
Too meta. It would distract me the whole time. I would go, why isn't he wearing the hat? Why isn't he wearing the hat? Where's the whip?
Or like of the three, it would feel the most like, did they just get him because he's Harrison Ford? And that's about it. Like, hey, we need like a star for this. So like, he's old and he's a name. Let's just get Harrison Ford because why not? You're gonna be okay with it because it's Harrison Ford, and not even so much if he's a good Sully.
Yeah, but I think he could be a really good Sully.
Again, I'd be interested in seeing it, but I guess it comes like you said, like, would he care?
Too grumpy. Too grumpy.
What Harrison Ford are we getting? Are we getting the one that cares?
He would get to fly planes
a
lot. I think he'd be happy.
I don't think if they were a smart movie studio, I don't think they would have him actually fly the planes if they cared
Let
about
him
the
fly
plane.
the planes and keep him happy. Just he would. All right, just hear me out. I need to defend my choice here.
Okay.
He's grouchy, but also still charismatic. He can still be very, very charming if he needs to. And I don't know. I kind of like the meta thing about it. I understand it's very meta, but it's like a passing of the baton. It's like you thought it was going to be Shia LaBeouf, but that was terrible. Let's give it to Josh Hopkins. And that's it.
I think the thing that works against Harrison is the same argument that tipped the scale to Josh, is that I would just see Harrison Ford the whole time and not Sully.
Yeah. I mean,
because they're
I can't really disagree.
Like, Sully's such a distinct personality, and like Harrison Ford would have to act his ass off to make me forget that he's Harrison Ford.
Okay, I would say, compromise. Chris Pratt
Yes.
co-stars in the next Indiana Jones movie as the grown-up version of Shia LaBeouf.
They're probably about the same age. But he'd still be more grown up than Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, like, I think Harrison at this point, he's too Harrison Fordy. He's not an actor that's been known to like completely transform himself for his roles. He like even the ones where he like his younger stuff where he like I guess tried more or less. It's still Harrison Ford. You know?
Yeah.
It's such a it's too
I know
much
I'm not gonna win this one. Sorry.
association with him at this point of like.
Oh, I will say, if you want to see Harrison Ford acting outside of his perceived wheelhouse, see Mosquito Coast.
Huh.
Okay, I've never heard of it. Older, younger, is this like recent or
90,
older?
I think about 90.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean he still cared, I guess.
Really holds up.
Okay, I have to look into that. I'm a Harrison Ford fan. I haven't seen that one.
86.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, River Phoenix plays his son. Right, and that was why they cast him in Last Crusade.
Oh, interesting.
So it sounds like Harrison is out.
I guess so.
All
right, so I've been looking up the ages of our guys, and I was shocked to learn that J.K. Simmons is only 63 years old. I would have added 10 years easy. Been like he's at least 73.
I don't know. That sounds about right to me, actually. He never struck me as like super duper old. Like 60s sounds, at least to me, that sounds right. He would be older if he didn't work out so damn much. He stalled his age.
He just has such an old man face.
And
this is coming from a place of love because I love J.K. Simmons. I love all of his work, but he's like Droopy the dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
I think that if you like, cause Sully is a pretty funny bastard. J.K. delivering those lines, it would be gold. Like if you just let him have fun with that role, but he's also like a pretty good, like he's a pretty good character actor. Like he's not a guy who was like he's J.K. Simmons in every movie. So like I could see him slipping into that Sully role better than Don Johnson to me.
Which brings us to Don Johnson, who is 68 and gorgeous. He is a gorgeous age. 68. He is a good-looking 68. If you told me that he was 63, I'd be like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, he could even pass for late 50s if they were really pushing it. But
yeah,
hot, and Sully is hot. He's always talking about the barmaid in Lima and all that. And of course, bringing hookers to church. He has a southern charm and swagger that, it's funny that we were talking about Chris Pratt not being metropolitan enough. Mm-hmm. And I think that J.K. Simmons is too metropolitan to be Sully. Sully's a little more, underworld. Outside of that, but adjacent, which is why he's survived for so long. And, mm-hmm. Don Johnson's from the South. He's from Missouri. And if you've seen any of his more recent performances where he is older, he usually plays an old, charming, fun guy who smokes cigars.
You know who smoked cigars before? J.K. Simmons.
Really? In what?
In Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, man, he's so good in that. It's hard to associate. It's like, no, that's not him. That's JJJ.
Exactly. Which again, you say that he's not, or he's too metropolitan. J.K. Simmons can act and be whatever he wants because he's one of those actors that can just get into a role. So it's almost irrelevant. It's like if he's not something, if he's not enough of something, he can just become that thing because he's got the chops to pull it off. And I dare say, and I don't even think this is a really controversial opinion, he's a better actor than Don Johnson.
Don Johnson is my favorite actor, but I think that I would probably just, it's hard to say, better at acting, but the evidence is on his side. But I'm gonna bring out my big gun right now.
Okay.
And it's The Proof. And it is a movie from 2014 called Cold in July.
Okay.
And Don Johnson plays a character named Jim Bob Luke. And that's probably the best movie of 2014. And
okay.
it's about
I've not
three
seen
guys.
It, so I can't say. But.
It's a kind of an indie. It was one of those movies that opened. I guess they still do it, but it opened at a few theaters and then had a video on demand at the same time.
Yeah.
It was one of those movies that is awards bait, but they didn't want to put it out at awards season.
Okay.
And so it gained, so much critical acclaim, but was kind of forgotten by the time the Oscars rolled around. But it was good for everyone who made it. But the cast is crazy. It's Michael C. Hall, Sam Shepard, and Don Johnson. Sam Shepard, one of the greats. And it's about them in the South going to go fight some guys. Because I don't want to spoil it. It's such a great movie that I don't want to spoil anything, and I'll just say that that's a broad explanation of the premise of the film. And it's a dark and gritty crime drama. And when Don Johnson shows up, he is from a completely other movie. And he is just this jolly Southern guy who also is like, I will kick some ass when I've gotta.
Can I watch a trailer while we're recording?
Yes, you can.
Because I want to see him in this role. I want to see this character. He'd be in the trailer, right?
I hope so.
Okay.
It was, it's a movie that I watched entirely because he was in it. But then, it became it's actually one of the movies that's kind of like the Johnson Renaissance. I'm pretty sure that role led to him getting to be in Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Okay.
And I don't know, whenever I play Uncharted and Sully pops up, it's like I'm watching Don Johnson.
What's it?
Like there's something to be said for an actor like J.K. Simmons who can effectively transform into these characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's also something for a character who doesn't feel like it's a pastiche of characters that Don Johnson has already played. Like if this character was exactly like Sonny Crockett, I would be like, it would be the exact same thing as Chris Pratt and Harrison Ford while they were out. But it's like this character feels like it was written for Don Johnson.
Okay. Sounds like we got our arguments.
I kind of feel
right
like
now,
we should just take a day, everyone watch Cold in July, then we'll come back.
Enrique, all you listeners, this is your homework. Go watch Cold in July, and also go watch everything J.K. Simmons has done because it's probably good.
And Mosquito Coast, Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Go watch Whiplash or something.
Django Unchained. The episode of Nash Bridges written by Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah. Really good.
Remember J.K. and Burn After Reading? He was funny in that.
Yeah, good movie.
It's a good movie. It's another. I was talking to someone about this not long ago, and their pick for Sully was Bruce Campbell. I thought that was an interesting pick. And they were strictly going by his Burn Notice character. Because he was arguing that that's basically Sully.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad pick.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't think about that. So shout out to him, Chris, talking about Bruce Campbell as Sully. Let us know what you think about that, listeners.
Yeah, and as an archetype, Sully is a character that can go in many different directions. And Don Johnson would feel different from Richard McGonagall's version from the games. Well, they both have like these vaguely, although I don't think Sully is Richard McGonagall's Sully is Southern. He doesn't have a Southern, more like a Midwest kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Midwest joined the Navy and just immediately was like, I'm living in the city.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the underworld now. And
Did you finish the trailer?
I did. It
Daniel?
didn't really show much of Don Johnson, so it didn't help the cause there, but it did make me want to watch that movie. So.
It's a really good movie. And
Well-
I'm not surprised that Don Johnson's not really in the trailer because it's weird, because he's not the comic relief, because it's still super serious, but he's like the character that's like, the world is bigger than your intimate thing that's going on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so
well,
good.
Daniel, it sounds like you're going to be the tiebreaker here. So, because Zach and I are both kind of steadfast in our
We're
picks.
We're butting
so
heads.
it comes down to you. Who's it going to be? Don Johnson or J.K. Simmons?
So I really like J.K. Simmons, just as an actor, and I can see him in that role. I can see him as Victor goddamn Sullivan, but I could also see Don Johnson. The thing that worries me about Don Johnson is all the recent movies that he's playing like an old dude and like a Sully type character. He's always got like the cowboy hat, and I don't know. That's not Sully to me, so that worries me. I don't know. What say you about that?
I would say Brawlin' Cell Block 99, still Southern, but much more of an... He's such a great character in that movie. Like this authoritarian, totalitarian prison warden.
Just like
The other thing about
But he's affable despite how serious and crazy.
So, Sully known for his totalitarian behavior.
the other thing about Sully is that, like, at least in the games, he's always kind of the layman in the situation. He's the guy that is the audience surrogate. He's the guy that they have to, he always says, pretend I don't know anything about this. And, Nate says some exposition about El Dorado and some shit. And I'm trying to picture either of them being that, and I could see J.K. Simmons more as that kind of like oblivious, just like treasure thief.
He's been oblivious before
Right.
in roles. Picture his dopey J.K. Simmons way of like, the hell am I looking at?
So I'm gonna go with J.K. Simmons.
Okay. I will gracefully accept defeat.
I like them both, but yeah.
While gracefully acknowledging that this whole podcast is rigged, and I will see you all in court, and I will never be on this show again.
Okay, you can have Don Johnson as your lawyer. He can probably play a good lawyer. Very totalitarian lawyer. Alrighty, so we've got our cast, and dare I say, it's probably better than the actual movie cast is gonna be. So, we've got our Nathan Drake, played by Josh Hopkins. Elena Fisher will be played by Amy Adams. Victor Sullivan, played by J.K. Simmons. And Chloe Frazer, played by Rona Mitra. The Uncharted movie that sadly we will never get to see, but we can imagine it in our hearts from listening to this podcast. Thanks for joining me, guys. We've got it. We've made another Rushmore once again. So, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for listening, everyone. And if they want to reach out to you on social media to agree or disagree with your picks, where can they find you? First, you, Zach, and feel free to plug anything you got going on.
Let me know what your favorite Miami Vice episode is. Tweet it to me at my name, Zak Wojnar. And that's and YouTube videos, Screen Rant stuff. I wrote I'm writing a bunch about Spider-Man right now. We're all very excited for that game.
Yeah.
So that's the beat right now.
Okay. Awesome. And you, Daniel, where can they find you on social media, and let us know what you got
They
going
can
on?
find me on Twitter at IndieJones84. That's indie as in like indie music or indie games. And then they can listen to my podcast if they want to. I do podcasts with my dad. My dad was kind of been a musician his whole life, and he was in Michigan marching band in college. He plays just about every major instrument anyway. And so he's been a big influence on my musical tastes, but him and I have very different musical tastes. So we sit down every couple of weeks and listen to an album of our choice. I choose one week, he chooses the next week, and then we talk about it. This past week we did Prince's Purple Rain, and he had never really listened to it before, and it kind of blew his mind. So it's a fun podcast. That's called Mr. Jones and Me. Yeah.
Nice. That sounds awesome. All right. And as for yours truly, Marcus Stewart, you can find me on Twitter at MarcusStewart7. That is the number 7. You can also follow me on my website, marcuswritesabouutgames.wordpress.com. You can also see me on extralife.com, contributing articles there, as well as gaminghistoria.com.
Oh, yeah, I'm on one of those too.
Yeah, I think you're on Extra Life as well. So you can see Mr. Zak Wojnar's articles there too. And yeah, you can also follow me on my YouTube channel, same name, Marcus Writes About Games, on YouTube, as well as iTunes and Podbean, which you're probably listening to one of those right now anyway. So there it has it. But thanks for listening, everyone. And if you'd like to ever hit me up with a topic that you'd like to see us tackle on the show, hit me up on Twitter or any of the other destinations that I've listed. But until next time, we've got more mountains to carve, more topics to discuss, more games and all that good stuff to talk about. So until next time, thanks for listening. Have a good one.